The Bridges Out of Poverty framework is a very powerful thing. What it does is, first of all, it addresses the fact that poverty is actually caused by 4 different things. It's caused by individual choices and behavior, it's caused by community conditions, it's caused by exploitation, and it's caused by local government policy as well. And in order to win the fight against poverty, we have to address all 4 causes of poverty. And so the way we do that is we have a steering committee that is in place, and the first task of the steering committee was to conduct a class called Getting Ahead in a Just Getting By World that is meant for individuals who are struggling with issues related to poverty. And it helps them build their personal resources for life, and they build a plan in order to work themselves out of poverty. But the really cool thing about it is as they're going through this class, we are able to gain valuable information and insight as to what life with being under-resourced is like here in Pottawatomie County. So we no longer have to make our best guess based upon interactions with other people. We know from the people that are living in it every day exactly what it's like. And they're able to highlight problems for us. So we can take those problem areas, bring it to the steering committee, and the steering committee can address each of those problem areas. And as they do that, and as they reduce the problems that those that are under-resourced are facing here in our community, it begins again to lower the barriers and increase the opportunities for success. And it has provided them with a voice. So not only is our community getting better, but people are being encouraged that are under-resourced because somebody is listening to them. They're seeing change take place, and so they want to get active and participate in the change that's taking place. And it just raises the whole level of hope in the community. I was privileged to sit in training for Bridges Out of Poverty, and one of the first things that they pointed out was a new definition of poverty, which is the extent to which a person does without resources. And as I was sitting there, I was thinking, my goodness, this is exactly what our community needs in order to wage this war against poverty. And so I took all the materials that I had and I began doing some footwork around the community and asking other agencies, other individuals, if they thought something like this would be effective in our fight against poverty. And almost 100% of the people said, yes, this sounds exactly like what we need here.
I was a participant of Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, which is a financial assistance program that's offered through the Department of Human Services. It's typically for single parents that don't have income, and it's a working program, so you have to do programs, and I was doing job search. I'd done it for 9 months, and I was at the end of my rope. They were getting ready to cut my assistance off. And so my career development specialist at DHS suggested Bridges Out of Poverty program. Meeting Philip, I thought, he doesn't get it. But when I left, he sold me on it. I knew that when I got in my car, no matter how bad things were at that moment, because as soon as I got in the car, all the stresses that I was in came flooding back. But I knew that I had just accepted an invitation to a program that was going to change my life. And I went home to my nice home that I've had for 7 years, that I could barely pay for, that I was a month from having foreclosed with my 2 children. But I knew in the back of my mind I had this program to look forward to, because it was going to change everything. It was going to open doors, it was going to open my eyes, and that's exactly what it did. I think one of the major things for me was the hidden rules of economic classes. I think that sometimes individuals that live in poverty, we have our own rules, we have our own way of dealing with things, and so does middle class, and so does upper class. We all have our own set of rules, and we all expect that people from each of these classes to know all of these rules. But nobody before this program has set individuals in poverty down and said, these are the rules. That it's not just what we think. And you've got to be able to communicate with each other. And I think that opened a big door for a lot of us in the program. Initially, I thought this was just another program. This was another Band-Aid to my issue. And I was going to do it because I had to. Because it was the last draw. But it ended up changing my life in the way that I live, in the way that I parent.
The Bridges Out of Poverty initiative, or Neighboring 101, is, while it's something that has been started by the Salvation Army, it is not something that is meant to be contained only to the Salvation Army. This is something that we want to see spread around the community as a whole. So we are looking for community partners, we're looking for businesses and organizations and individuals that are willing to get on board and implement some of these constructs and this framework in their world in which they live on a daily basis and make change happen for our community. We're starting a new class of Getting Ahead, and once that class ends, we're going to be looking for a community partner to start another class, so that we'll have 2 classes going simultaneously, and we hope to keep adding classes as time goes on. So eventually we have these classes spread all over town. People are learning how to build the resources. We're gathering information about what life is like, and we're addressing problems and issues that people are facing every day.